this video, I'm going to show you my quick and easy process for whitening teeth inside of Final Cut Pro. Now, quick note, this is not perfect for every single situation, but these are some of the steps I would take to whiten teeth if I was working with a client who wanted that. So I have this basic shot of me talking to the camera. This was not planned around me whitening the teeth. That way it would be more of a real world example. And you can see if we zoom in here, my teeth are looking a little yellow. So let's go ahead and fix that. What we can do is go on up into our color inspector here in the top right, and we are going to add in the hue saturation curves. Inside of the hue saturation curves, you'll see in the top right, we have this eyedropper under each of these different zones that we can work with. So we are going to find the hue versus sat and click the eyedropper and then make a selection on our teeth. So I'll go ahead and click and we can drag that out so we get a little bit larger of a selection happening there. But now you'll see that that's created a point on the hue versus sat. Essentially what the hue versus sat is doing is it's telling Final Cut Pro wherever a given color or hue is happening on the color spectrum, how much saturation should that specific color receive. So when it's directly in the center, it's going to be receiving the same amount of saturation as any other color. But if we were to drop it down, anything in that spectrum is going to remove the saturation. You'll see how my lights here in the back are still their full saturation, whereas my skin tones are almost completely black and white. Let's go ahead and undo that with Command Z. From here, we need to make sure that we're not really selecting all of my skin tones on the outside of my teeth. So we're gonna need to do a couple things to adjust for that. But firstly, we need to create some points on the outside of this primary point. So I'm just gonna click to create a point and click to create another point. And if you're having trouble making those points, you can actually expand out your hue versus sat area here, giving you just a little bit more control. From there, I'm going to select that center point and just drop it down in saturation. And it's going to be subtle, but you can see here on the teeth how it's taking effect. So here it is without, and here it is with. Now it's looking like we might need to expand out our selection a little bit because we've got some of that yellow happening up there in the corners. So we can go ahead and just make adjustments on these points to find where those yellows are coming through. It looks like it's over here on the right side. Drag this back over there, somewhere like that. And then we can bring up the saturation just a little bit because you don't want to make it perfectly black and white. That wouldn't be natural. So now that we've got our teeth kind of black and white, we want to add some brightness to them because right now they are kind of this gray color and that makes them look somewhat dead. So let's go on down to hue versus luma. That's again going to tell Final Cut Pro a given color is going to be how bright according to whatever point we have here. So we'll get our eyedropper, make a selection on our tooth, and just drag that out. And this is actually going to be making the selection based off of the original color that was there, not off of the color under the changes that we've created. So I'm going to make another point on both sides of this point, and we'll just drag that around. And you can see how it's affecting my skin if I bring it down. But let's go ahead and bring that up, get some brightness back. We can expand our selection a little bit, and it's gonna look a little messy here, but just bear with me, and we'll get it somewhere in here. So you wanna keep it subtle to make it realistic, but now if I were to disable, that's the original teeth, and that's the new teeth. Now, you'll notice that my skin and everything outside of the mouth is also being affected, and we definitely don't want that. So that is where we're gonna use a shape mask. To do that, let's go on up to the top right. We can click on this little circle icon inside of the rectangle and select Add Shape Mask. If I zoom out, we can see the entire shape mask here, and you'll see that as I pull that off, it's not affecting my skin. So let's just go ahead and shrink this down so it's just surrounding my mouth. And I'm gonna zoom in with Command Plus and kind of get readjusted here. And we'll adjust our feather way down as well, because again, we don't wanna be affecting the face and the skin. You can of course make fine-tune adjustments with these teeth, getting them to look as realistic as you want. I could raise the brightness just a little bit, maybe expand out my selection. It's really going to come down to each individual shot. But once you've done that, we can go ahead and use Final Cut Pro's powerful tracker to track this onto my mouth. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into tracker mode, and I'm gonna push analyze, although I have a strong feeling that this tracker is not going to work perfectly out of the box. So let's push analyze, see what Final Cut Pro does, and it's kind of sitting there on the mouth, but not really all that well. So if that's the case for you, you can go back out into your video inspector. With that shot selected, we'll scroll to the very bottom and find our trackers. If your trackers are hidden, you can go ahead and just push that show button and they'll pop up. And right now the analysis method is set to automatic. What I have found that works the best specifically for this mouth that's moving a lot is the machine learning option. This has actually been recently updated in Final Cut Pro, so it's much better. But now that we've done that, let's go ahead and push analyze and see how the track works. It's really locked to my mouth much better. So now if we scrub through, you can see how my teeth look much brighter. The lips aren't being affected by those color selections we made. It's just the teeth that are getting that treatment. So this is a great way to boost the confidence of your clients on camera. If this video was helpful to you, consider pressing that like button, consider subscribing, and you might want to check out this video where I show you how I build my intros for my YouTube channel using Final Cut Pro. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.